was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they way.
Hey, it's your boy Jim CB, and we're back with another video for the channel, man. And I'm coming today to discuss and tap on with y'all about these recent mob videos we've been doing for the channel. And today we'll be discussing Ironheart, based upon the new Disney Plus series that's coming in June. And it's basically a brief history, a rundown, what have you, on Ironheart, the character, and you know how she became or came to be, you know, and things like that. Just a backstory, history.
Riri Williams was born shortly after the death of her father, Riri Williams Sr. She grew up in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, living with her sister Sharon, their mother, Ronnie, and their stepfather. When Riri was 5 years old, behavioral problems led her parents to consult a child psychologist, who certified Riri as a super genius after undergoing several tests. At the psychologist's recommendation, Riri's parents looked into special care to foster her abilities, while also giving her emotional support. Riri's level of intelligence caused her to retreat inside her own mind and become an introvert. She met her only friend, Natalie Washington, when she was 10 years old, after Riri caught Natalie's attention while working at her open garage on some inventions meant to hopefully help superheroes someday. A year after that, Riri was given a scholarship at MIT. Tragedy struck Riri when she was 13 years old. While having a picnic at Marquette Park, Riri, her family, and Natalie were caught in the line of fire when a drive-by shooting hit some bystanders. Even though Riri was unscathed, both Natalie and Riri's stepfather were hit by stray bullets and died. Building the first suit. What started as a challenge for herself ended up becoming a secret project to create her own suit of armor. After reverse engineering technology from the outdated Iron Man armor model 41, Riri started creating her own prototype version of the Iron Man armor, using mainly stolen material from campus. When security caught notice of her suspicious activities, Riri decided to don the suit of armor and fly away. After flying around the country trying to get the hang of her suit's flying capabilities, Riri intercepted a couple of inmates escaping from the New Mexico State Penitentiary. She managed to stop the speeding truck they were using as an escape vehicle, but at the cost of her armor's integrity. Riri eventually returned to her house to keep working on her suit, much to her mother's dismay. After learning of Riri's accomplishment, Tony Stark visited her and chose to endorse Riri's desire to become a superhero. Using a repaired version of her armor, Riri later assisted Iron Man during the second superhero Civil War, fighting against the forces of Captain Marvel, becoming Ironheart. In the end of the Civil War, Tony Stark fell into a coma fighting Captain Marvel, so Riri decided to continue his legacy as a hero. With the guidance of an AI duplicate of Stark, Riri created an improved suit of armor and took up the alias of Ironheart. Riri rapidly caught the attention of allies and enemies of Tony Stark alike. After defeating the Techno Golem and her biohack ninja with the help of Rescue, S.H.I.E.L.D. started monitoring Riri. Having become famous, Riri was offered not only Tony Stark's old lab by his mother Amanda Armstrong. MIT approached Riri to offer her their resources, and a group of teenage superheroes, the Champions, invited her to join their ranks. Not long afterwards, S.H.I.E.L.D. convinced Ironheart to invade Latveria to take down the war criminal Lucia von Bardas. Riri defeated the Latvian terrorist and declared herself the new monarch of the small nation. After negotiating a truce between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Latveria's armed forces, Riri abdicated and helped pave the way for Latveria's first free elections. Adventures with the Champions. When Hydra launched a massive attack on the American government under the hand of a fascist doppelganger of Captain America, both Ironheart and the Tony Stark AI joined the underground, a contingent of American heroes and civilians fighting against Hydra's regime. During this time, Riri became closer to the Champions, and even joined them when they left the underground to support Spider-Man and form the Red Room to formulate a plan to take down Captain America under the guidance of Black Widow. However, when the champions carried out their plan, the Black Widow was murdered by Captain America, and the young heroes were arrested. Ironheart and the other teenage heroes were freed during the Underground's assault on Washington, D.C., which resulted in the defeat of Hydra and the return of the real Captain America. As a reward for helping defeat Hydra, the sentient cosmic cube named Kobik transported a handful of heroes to different periods in time. Ironheart was taken to a distant future where she encountered the Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark, who inspired her to continue working on her own future. While investigating the disappearance of Tony Stark's comatose body shortly afterwards, Riri was invited into a think tank founded by Leonardo da Vinci, who intended to create something to stand in the place of the defunct S-Healed. Following these adventures and the return of Tony Stark, Riri officially became a member of the Champions. After a mission to the North Pole to rescue Amka Aliak and add her to the team, she and the Champions then went into outer space to help Nova save the Chitauri from genocide. Ironheart recklessly attempted to take on Thanos, the ruler of these aliens. Thanos effortlessly disintegrated Riri's armor and spared her solely because the Champions had indirectly fought on his behalf against the Warbringer. While reeling from the loss of her suit, Riri was encouraged by her teammate Viv to work on a new iteration of the armor, inspired by the Chitauri they just fought. Riri showed off her new Ironheart suit to her teammates before heading to Mbali, Tanzania, to install water filters as a favor for a friend of Nadia's. Upon arrival, she ate with the locals at their behest, while Amka and Viv investigated what turned out to be Man-Thing, who had taken up refuge in the forests that surrounded the village. He attacked them, but was defeated, at the cost of serious damage to Viv and the loss of Sam and Nadia to another dimension. As the search for them continued, Riri was present when Miles Morales received news that a shooting occurred in his school. The Champions all took this news poorly, with Riri in particular displaying a morbid resignation to the inevitability of gun violence, explaining to Amadeus Cho that it played at least some part in why she built the Ironheart armor. Sometime later, Riri was with the Champions when Amka discovered the location of their missing teammates. After convincing her to let them accompany her, they all entered the Siege Parallel, an alternate reality more akin to a fantasy RPG that changed them all into traditional Dungeons and Dragons archetypes of their personalities. Riri becoming a noble paladin by the name of Lady Ironheart, and the only one who was able to recall her true reality on Earth. After meeting with Miles, who now the rogue Shadow Spider, the two of them embarked on a mission to save their scattered teammates. After eventually regrouping with Mystic Marvel, Ms. Marvel, Vivid Vessel, Viv, Snowgore, Amka, Brawnhammer, Amadeus, and a reformed Man-Thing, they confronted the evil ruler who had turned Nova Knight, Sam, and Wicked Wasp, Nydia, over to his side. By combining her power with Vivid Vessel, Riri was able to defeat him and return home with her teammates. Afterwards, she met with a downtrodden Miles Morales over some comments he had made as Shadow Spider, but he promised her that he wouldn't leave the team. The experience as Vivid Vessel also made Viv realize that she had romantic feelings for Riri, and she surprised Riri with a kiss in her room once she was alone there. But Riri's poor social skills left her unable to give Viv a proper response, and so things were left awkward and unresolved between her and Viv, straining her presence on the Champions. Sometime later, she successfully assisted a much larger Champions team on a global, large-scale mission that involved multiple relief efforts in various countries. Afterwards, she was confronted by Viv, who still sought resolution for her romantic confession, but Riri was flustered and remained unable to give Viv the closure she wanted. This caused her to avoid Champions-related activity for an extended period of time afterwards. She would eventually fall victim to the influence of Blackheart and confront Viv at her home in Arlington. Upon seeing that she was in the middle of coordinating a Champions mission, she ambushed her, which led the rest of the Champions to confront her in a battle. It wasn't until Viv apologized to Riri that she was able to snap out of Blackheart's control and defeat him, before finally resolving their feelings for each other. Riri saying she couldn't return Viv's romantic feelings, but was happy to be her friend. Solo Adventures. Riri eventually accepted the offer from MIT to have her own lab, and she continued to develop a proper AI for her armor with her newfound resources. After an accident occurred while giving a tour of this lab to foreign visitors, she received an alert for unusual police activity that prompted her to investigate. This led to a confrontation with the villain Clash, who gave her a token of the 10 rings after his defeat, acknowledging her villainous potential. This troubled Riri greatly until she was surprised by her friend Xavier King with a FaceTime call. After a long conversation, she was shocked to see that the AI that she had been developing from scanning and compositing her brainwaves and memories was complete and had taken the form of an aged-up Natalie, her long-dead best friend. Christening her the Neuro-Autonomous Technical Assistant and Laboratory Intelligence Entity, Riri and her new AI returned home to Chicago to investigate the disappearance of her childhood friend, Dijah Hamilton, with her mother and Xavier.
Change the side of that coin.